Hey, good day, everyone. This is Michael Kolbeck, your truth activator. And I wanted to take a moment. If I seem a little bit distracted, it's because I'm driving down the interstate right now, but this was fresh in my mind. This is what was coming through. I wanted to let this out to you, and there's no place to get off at the moment. So, I just went out and had myself a bagel this morning for breakfast, but when I got to the place is still shut down in terms of the dining room. I was irritated by that. And, I'm going there to pay money. In part, I'm going there for the experience of just having a little bit of a different atmosphere to sit in. And to do some reading, do some writing while I'm sitting there. It's a way to break up the monotony. It's a way to have a different scene, just a different view. I needed some time away from my house, my home. And so, when that was closed, in terms of you can't sit in here, you can just get your food and go, well, I thought, what am I going to do? That's not what I want to do. Then I noticed the irritation from it. And yet I noticed also on the drive down, I noticed on myself, I was verbalizing just to myself irritations that I felt, frustrations that I felt. I thought back, I'm like, you've been like this since you woke up this morning. In the shower, talking to myself, it was the same way. And these weren't negative things I was stating about myself. These were just simply things that were coming through me and that I was speaking out loud, that I was frustrated about and found to be irritating me. Now here's the interesting thing. We are responsible for how we handle our feelings. The feeling itself isn't bad. And as I was driving home here a few minutes ago, actually what I'm doing right now, I started to spout it off saying, I am responsible for my feelings. I am not responsible necessarily for the feeling that comes up or for the feeling that comes through. The feeling is just a feeling. The feeling is just the signal. It's simply the signal that says there is some energy here. Some emotion, which is emotion is just energy in motion. There is some emotion here that wants to move, that is surfacing. And my expression of that feeling or that emotion, it is coming out as irritability. So it's my responsibility then to say, it's not everybody else out there. I could say, it's this bagel shop that I went to. What the hell's wrong with them? I could say it's the people here on the interstate that I'm driving along with. Why doesn't he get the hell out of my way? I could say all of these things, and yet all of that is simply projection and distraction from the feeling. Making something that is actually occurring within me, making it be out there as the problem, as the thing that has to be dealt with, as if only these people would just do this, if only this person would just get out of the way, if only. We all do it. Every single one of us, even myself, with the amount of work that I have done in this area, I will still have moments like today, and sometimes I notice it right away. Sometimes, like today, it takes me a little bit longer. And I'll suddenly realize and have that awareness. Look at the pattern that is showing up for you in just the last couple hours today. And that is a key and a cue to go, okay. It's not out there. It's in here. Now, I'm driving my vehicle. I need to pay attention to what's in front of me, what's around me, what's happening behind me. I need to have that awareness. So it's not a good time for me to take my awareness inside, but now I have the awareness to say, now I get it. Something is percolating inside of me that wants to come through, that wants to be acknowledged, that simply wants to be acknowledged so that it can be released, let go, and it can move through. That is the form of all energy. All energy moves. All energy moves, and everything in the universe is energy. Even if you look at a table, even if you look at something that is solid, from an energetic perspective, the molecules and atoms, etc., in that thing that appears to be and is solid in a physical sense. It is comprised of energy which is constantly moving. The energy within ourselves is no different. We are energetic beings. It is my responsibility to therefore recognize I'm having this feeling here. I'm being triggered in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, I'm driving. This is not a good time for me to introspect on it. But what I can do now is say, all right, when I get home, I'm going to sit. For myself, what works is sitting just for a moment, taking a breath in, centering myself, not having any other distractions around me, not having the TV on or music on or any of that, It's amazing all the ways that we distract ourselves, and we can then not be fully present to ourselves. What is here? What is the energy? What is the emotion or the feeling that is wanting to come forth? And so when I get home, I will sit down for a moment. I will go within, and I will simply ask, what is here? I have some suspicions about what it might be. And yet, although many times I can pick up on it fairly quickly, this is one of them that is eluding me. This is one of them where I suspect it will take me a few minutes of sitting in my own space, of being present with me, before I will really get some clarity on what this is. And the moment that I get the clarity on what it is, I have an option. Do I want to let this feeling go? Sometimes we want to. Sometimes, for whatever reason, we're still not ready to, but we've at least acknowledged that feeling in the present moment. Just the acknowledgement of the feeling alone will help shift that energy. And it may completely release, or it may simply just shift. But all of this goes back to what occurs out there is simply a mirror and a reflection of what we're experiencing in here. So I encourage you, like me, if you're feeling unsettled, if you have a feeling of angst, a feeling of frustration, a feeling of something's missing, a feeling of this or a feeling of that, to take a moment to yourself. Even if that moment means you have to go into the bathroom to get some privacy. Whether you actually go and do anything in the bathroom or not, at least you can shut the door and lock the door and have a few minutes of privacy that you need to be with you. It can be as simple as that. As I've learned these practices and incorporated these practices over the past few years, there would be times where I'm at work and I'm at my desk and something is stirring within me. Something is asking me to acknowledge it, to look at it, because what we look at disappears. What we resist, if I resist going within and looking at this feeling, all it's going to do is this feeling's going to get stronger, and it's going to get stronger, and it's going to get stronger, and it's going to irritate me and frustrate me more and more, because it's saying, listen to me, take some time for me. I have something to say. I simply want to be looked at, simply want to be seen. And so when this would happen at work and I was at my desk and there were teammates around, etc., and a lot of commotion around, I would simply go into the restroom. And many times I would go find one of the restrooms that was least used. And that way I could simply go in there for a few minutes and ask what is here. Or I would go book a conference room for 15 minutes and go into the conference room. Sometimes it took 1 minute, sometimes it took 10 minutes for me to process whatever was needed. And there were other times where the day was just too busy. I couldn't do any of that. And I made a mental note to myself to put it on the shelf. And when I got home, I would take care of it. We can make all kinds of excuses for not going within and looking at it, dealing with our feelings, but I encourage you, your feelings, Your feelings are the language. Emotion is the language of the universe. Your feelings are the barometer of your soul and what is occurring within you at the time. Your feelings are automatically going to come, no matter what feeling you have, what emotion you have. It is legitimate. We have made this thing where certain feelings and certain emotions are bad and certain ones are good and all this, and none of that is true. It is how you express and handle those feelings. If I was to let this irritability continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow, and then just unleash it on somebody that is in front of me because they happen to be there, that is where it becomes bad, as they say. And yet again, it is not the emotion or the feeling that it was bad. It was the unhealthy expression that potentially causes harm and damage and hurt to another. So we must sift and separate these two pieces from one another. Feelings and emotions in and of themselves are just simply feelings and emotions. It is your body speaking its wisdom to you and asking you to listen and to look. I love every one of you. Blessings to your day.